tired, but I don't get
And the lady's like, oh, have you took something new with your mouth? Wash your hands. Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Solid. What about your hand? All right, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here, and welcome to this regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach. If you do have an electronic device, if you are able to please put that on silent. We always have one during every meeting, and everyone in the room always looks at them and shakes their head. So don't let it be you tonight. We will call this meeting to order and begin with an invocation from Senior Pastor Bill L. Well from the First United Methodist Church. After the invocation, if you could please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Gracious God, in the 249th anniversary of this great republic, we gather this night where the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Florida and the Charter of Fort Walton Beach come together. This City Council has to interpret all of that into home rule. We give thanks for those who work for the city, for all of the employees and all the staff and all the departments. We pray for our first responders, whom we yield to on the road, but who hold special places in our hearts. We pray for those who every day in their sweat equity and their investment of their resources work for the good and the fabric of this community. We give thanks for those who work in education, for those who volunteer in recreation and in agencies, and for all who flow and live every single day to make this the wonderful city that it is. Bless us all in every decision made this night, in every presentation, and everyone whose life is lifted up. We are all made equal in the Constitution and in your sight, O Lord. And we pray this night that this city will be a better place after this meeting tonight than it was this morning. We give thanks to you in the name of Almighty God. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. That was beautiful as always. We need to start with approval of the agenda from the board.
So moved.
Actually, Mayor, during the CRA meeting, the CRA board provided direction to put on the agenda tonight a discussion item to discuss, I believe, terminating the lease at the corner of Highway 98 and Perry. And I don't know where the logical place to put that on the agenda would be, but they wanted to put that on the agenda. And so.
Mayor, I so move to amend this agenda to include terminating the lease at said property owner.
Second.
Well, let's put it at
Wherever you would like to put it.
11.10. We'll put it right after 11.
Let's do it.
All right, motion by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Jeter to approve tonight's agenda with that change. Any additional comments?
No, sir. We'll talk about it more then.
Council, please vote. Motion does pass unanimously. Also, our thoughts with Councilman Walker, feeling a little under the weather tonight, so we hope he gets to feeling better soon. We start with proclamations, and a proclamation recognizing November as Epilepsy Awareness Month. Epilepsy is a neurological disorder that causes recurring, unprovoked seizures and can affect anyone at any age. It is a spectrum disorder, meaning symptoms, severity, and outcomes can be widely varied from person to person. In the United States, it affects about 3.4 million people, including over 426,000 Floridians, 88,000 of whom are children. People with epilepsy need access to affordable, comprehensive health care and greater awareness in our schools and communities. Despite legal protections, many still face discrimination in employment, education, and housing. Public education and advocacy are essential to reducing stigma and ensuring equal opportunities for all. Each November during Epilepsy Awareness Month, Epilepsy Alliance Florida leads efforts to promote understanding, support research, and advocate for all of those affected. The City of Fort Walton Beach proudly recognizes November 2025 as Epilepsy Awareness Month and encourages all residents to show support, advance treatments, and help us move closer to a cure. I do believe we have someone to accept the proclamation tonight who I've known for quite some time, Patrick Rosser. Patrick, if you want to come on up to the front. I know you requested a photo with me, so I will come down there and get one with you. How are you, man?
Good, how
I
about
just saw you Saturday, didn't I?
you? Yes,
It's good to see you again so quickly.
thank you.
Oh, sorry. Good? Thanks. All right. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Jay. All right, if we can have our ACE Award winner. We have two students to recognize tonight. We have Abigail, or Abby King. I'm sure she probably prefers being called Abby. Abby, if you and your parents want to step up to the microphone there, I'll read a little bit about you first before we give you a fabulous award. Miss Abby King exemplifies civic excellence through her exceptional academic performance, leadership, athletics, and community service. Ranked 4th in her class with a 4.66 GPA, which doesn't even seem real. It seemed like a typo, but I guess it must be. Abby, described by her teachers as a kind soul who always puts others before herself and is a hard worker whose grades reflect her dedication. As president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and an active member of Student Council, National Honor Society, and multiple leadership roles, she inspires peers through her kindness, initiative, and service to the community. Congratulations, Abby. We do have this ACE Award for you as well, if you want to grab that. And then Devin would gladly take photos with you and your family.
Can I get a picture of you guys
Yeah,
up
if you
here?
gues want to come on up here and gather around all of the council. Hey, it doesn't make a difference. We're all in it. We're all in it. All right.
Thanks.
Everybody good? All right. Hey, thanks. Thanks for being here. All right. I'm going to need some help with the pronunciation of the next one. McClanahan. Gotcha. And it's Elena?
Yes.
Okay. That's the one I was really the most concerned about. I always mess it up. All right. Yeah, if you and your family want to step on up. Miss Elena McClanahan demonstrates civic excellence through outstanding academic achievement, artistic leadership, volunteerism, and work experience. With a weighted GPA of, again, an unreal 4.73, she has excelled in numerous AP and CTE courses while also being recognized as a Viking Scholar and a member of Mensa International. As president of the Art Club, Elena has projects raising awareness for community causes, contributed to school beautification, and volunteered for local organizations. Additionally, she's performed and competed in piano for 9 years and gained practical experience in animal care throughout her work at Blue Water Zoo. Her dedication, creativity, and commitment to serving her school and community exemplify the highest standards of civic responsibility. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we have this for y'all. If you and your family want to step on up here and get a photo with all of us strange-looking people, come on in. Congratulations to both of you. All right, that moves us on to item 7, presentations. We'll start with another gentleman I just recently saw. From One Okaloosa Economic Development Council, Mr. Nathan Sparks. We don't have to clap for him, though. But we can if we want.
Not
a member of Mensa, by the way. All right, well, fantastic to be with you this evening. It's been hard to believe it's been a quarter since I was last here, and it was great to see some of you last week at the BitWizards Talking Parents groundbreaking. What a fantastic day for the city and for the county and for our wonderful partners at Talking Parents and BitWizards. And we all know what a tremendous story that is and how it speaks volumes about a veteran-owned business's ability to grow and prosper right here in the city of Fort Walton Beach. So kudos to all of you on what is a phenomenal win for our community, and certainly we're looking forward to more great things at Freedom Tech Center. So I don't have a lengthy report. I know you're sorry to hear that. But I do have some things I wanted to share with you nonetheless, and I always appreciate the opportunity. So I will start by sharing that it was a great honor to be asked by Mr. Davis to participate in the recent cohort of the Citizens Academy held at the Fort Walton Chamber on October 8th. And a great group of folks, really interesting group that had wonderful questions and inputs, and I know that they're gaining a lot of knowledge about the city, which is the idea. So kudos to Mr. Davis and the team here for establishing that new program. I'm looking forward to seeing the fruits of that, and I'm always happy to support it. So just let me know, Jason, what I can do. I also wanted to share with you, if you haven't heard, we've got some big news taking place this week out at the Shoal River Industrial Park, the 10,000 acre site 7 miles east of Crestview on Highway 90. And while it's not in the city, it is a major economic development win for not just Okaloosa County, but really for Florida as a whole. So much so that on Thursday, we will have Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins coming to speak and celebrate the groundbreaking of Williams International. And I spoke a little bit about that last quarter, but as a quick recap, that is a $1,040,819,000 investment that will result in a 1 million square foot aircraft engine manufacturing facility. We were ultimately successful competing with dozens of states in many different sites within those states. And again, we could not have done it without great partners with our local governments, with our state government, with Governor DeSantis. And certainly we're excited about those 336 jobs that will be created, which will be well north of our average wage here in Okaloosa County. And knowing the types of jobs that will be offered, we fully expect that people from all over our county and beyond will be willing to commute for those opportunities. So certainly good things there. But one thing that's really interesting to note is Williams has 2,400 suppliers. So we have brought in the mothership, so to speak, and now we have the opportunity to land additional companies in our community, including in the city of Fort Walton Beach, that support Williams. And I think many of the businesses that are here already have opportunities to support Williams. In fact, that segues into my next item for you, and that is on November 13th, one of those companies that's right here in your city, Precision Measurement Incorporated, PMI for short, and many of you know PMI, located on Anchor Street in the Commerce and Tech Park. They recently acquired the building they were leasing, so they have now gone all in on the city of Fort Walton Beach, making this their permanent home. Quick recap, they are a service-disabled, veteran-owned business owned by Mr. David Haynes and his family, and just do tremendous work. They even support the presidential fleet, Air Force One. And I know now they are also providing calibration services for your police force here in the city. And as I was coming in fact, a couple of your officers stopped me and they saw that I had something for you, and they said, "Are you with PMI? They're awesome." So I wish I was with PMI, but I'm proud to call them a friend. And if you haven't gotten an invitation yet to their open house that's taking place at 9 a.m. on Thursday, November 13th, now you have an invitation. So I'm going to pass these around if I can.
Yeah, please do.
And then last but not least, also in November, November 18th to be specific, we're going to be hosting something called Educate the Educators +1. We've been doing this since 2014, and really the idea is to get local students, high school students, along with their teachers, guidance counselors, principals, out into the community to tour industry, to really plant seeds with young people like those that were just here about the career pathways, the very viable and lucrative career pathways that exist right here in our community. So we've, again, been doing this for a while. We did one in Niceville earlier this year. We did one in Crestview last year. We're doing this one here in the city of Fort Walton Beach. We'll be touring 3 businesses at least, maybe more. We're adding industry partners as we speak. Right now, Kratos Defense and Magna Manufacturing, both in the Commerce and Technology Park, are on the list. We're in discussions with Boeing. Hopefully that'll pan out. And I had a conversation earlier with Mr. Davis today about having him come and talk about the career opportunities that exist in the city. You'll have a wide range of career opportunities with the city government, whether it's technology or development services or law enforcement or what have you. So I think it's very important to talk about those career pathways with these young people so they know that as they're thinking about their futures, they can also consider a future here at the city. So any questions for me? That's what I have for you this evening.
Questions from the council?
Sure.
Sure. Absolutely.
I know you do a great job of everything presenting, and this is just another municipality but I just want to say thank you for these things that you're saying and going through very quickly. That's what puts food on tables. That's what helps give to the local little leagues, and so people can afford homes and rent and those kind of things. So these numbers and these investments aren't just numbers, and just thank you for helping advocate specifically the city of Fort Walton Beach, Commerce Technology Park, arguably the greatest city in the world. So thank you, Mr. Sparks.
It's an honor to do so. Thank you for your kind words.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
for being here. All right, moves us to item 7.2, a proposal for council to consider a hybrid council model. Sabu Williams from NAACP. There he is. I kept scanning the room for you earlier, and I thought you weren't here. You were hiding.
Maybe I lost a little weight.
I guess so. Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Mr. Sparks is a tough person to follow. He's such an articulate person there. But council, let me first say good evening to you again, Mayor and council members. For those of you who don't know, my name is Sabu Williams, and I am the president of the NAACP here for Oakland County. We're based at 102 4th Street in Fort Walton Beach, and I'm here today to request your support for a community discussion on the merits of a hybrid form of city government for Fort Walton Beach. Let me get my glasses on so I can see. The purpose is to invite residents into a structured public conversation about mixing district-based and at-large council seats to strengthen representation, equity, and civic trust. Now, my core message for you council members is that a hybrid council balances neighborhood advocacy and citywide strategy by combining district seats with at-large seats. It increases geographic representation, it improves access for historically underserved communities, and it preserves broad oversight for citywide priorities. Our proposal is that the council form a community-driven conversations so residents and leaders can understand and evaluate the options of a hybrid system transparently. We are not seeking to enact an immediate change, nor are we intending to design a minority district. Our proposal is not about race or party, rather it is about representation. Local examples to cite, if you will, are Crestview. Crestview adopted a dynamic hybrid system combining both precinct-based and at-large council members to significantly enhance geographic and minority representation. This transition to a new council structure occurred, I think, back in 2018. The council now consists of 5 dedicated members. 3 are elected from individual precincts, and 2 serving at large, ensuring a broader range of voices and perspectives in local governance. The city of Pensacola currently has 7 council members. All are elected from single-member districts. They have no at-large seats, and the 2 that they had were eliminated in 2014, so thus the council now is comprised entirely of district-based seats. Now, we understand that redistricting can have some complexities. For instance, you can commit to an independent redistricting commission using census data and public hearings to ensure fairness. Sometimes, there can be voter confusion about what a hybrid system is versus what we currently have. which is why we wanted to provide interactive maps, clear voter guides, and multilingual outreach before any ballot action, and why we're also asking for there to be a town hall meeting in several locations prior to any action taking place. One of the resistance can be you as an incumbent. And we would emphasize that a phased implementation and a public review process to preserve stability while exploring improvements. A phased implementation potentially spanning several election cycles could be considered. And there may be some cost. We believe that the cost of this action would be minimum. However, we would pursue grants or partnerships for public education and any technical needs that might be might come about. And so what we would recommend is that in moving forward, and then we would ask you to maybe do three things. First, we would ask you to perhaps consider forming a study group or a task force to include council members, community leaders, civic groups, and neutral experts to evaluate models and draft options for consideration. And then we would have you direct that study group to produce an implementation report with draft maps, cost estimates, and a recommended timeline ahead of any charter or ballot consideration. And then we would ask you to approve a city-facilitated public listening series hosted in neighborhoods across the city and online to gather resident input. A community-led study and public discussion will let Fort Walton Beach decide whether a hybrid model better serves all neighborhoods while preserving citywide leadership. The Okaloosa County Branch NAACP stands ready to partner on outreach education and ensuring historically underrepresented voices are included in the process. And that's my short note. I think I sent to you our proposal, the long-term notes. I watched the city council meeting the last time you met at home on my YouTube, and I think it was like 4 hours and 25 minutes. And so I thought I better give you the short version tonight. But and I'm so glad you had me up here at number 7. But we did provide a sort of a long proposal, if you will. It gives a little bit more background. It gives you the demographic information, those kinds of things. The city of Fort Walton Beach is a unique place to live and to work and to play, in fact. But it is divided, if you will, in some cases into different kinds of communities. We have, for instance, here on 98, we have like the beach community, the transit people who come and visitors that come, and then you have other more affluent neighborhoods, such as in the Kenwood neighborhood. And then you have some other areas that are particularly underserved. And when I watch council meetings, I see our residents coming and having an issue that they want to address, but they're not sometimes can't be as articulate about the problem that they have. But having a voice that they can go to, one of you council members that they can talk to prior to coming here and doing what I'm doing right now, can give them some hope, if you will. Can even give them some answers where they might even need to come to a council meeting because they may be able to get the answer by simply knowing who represents your council. And it gives them a chance to have somebody to talk to. I know that I've spoken to many council members, and we actually were proposing something like this several years ago. If you recall, you had 7 numbered seats. And I came before the city council back, maybe it was 2010 or 2011, and said, you've got 7 numbered seats, but those numbers don't mean anything. You just pick a number. Why do you have numbered seats? And I went overseas and came back and you got rid of the numbers. So I said, well, there's some improvement, but still I would think that we could, that we could perhaps find a way that, or at least explore whether or not it would be beneficial to the residents to have someone representing a particular district. Some neighborhoods, well, in reality, you could actually have 7 council members coming from the same neighborhood. I mean, that's just a fact. It may not be happening, but it can happen, right? And then some neighborhoods may feel unrepresented altogether. And so I just believe that, and let me say this, we're not suggesting that we have a district-wide voting, but simply district-wide representation. So it would still be at-large voting. Everybody would still be able to vote for that member at large. I just think that is something that can be explored. And one of the reasons why I chose to come to this forum and present it to you in this way is because it gives you a chance and gives the city a chance and other residents a chance to have some voice in it. I know that we can do a petition drive, but oftentimes a petition drive means that something is being driven based on my idea, and it doesn't have input from others. If I put a petition together and get enough signatures on it to get it on the ballot, what good does that do if it simply has, my idea? And so I wanted to make sure that this was something that included all of our inputs, and perhaps you might even decide it's not something to do. But I do think it's something that's necessary to explore. And on that note, I will certainly remain for questions if you have any.
I'll ask you the first question, as a matter of fact. What would be the next step in this? I know that you said your group is happy to partner with the city, and hold meetings of folks and all of that. Is that something that you would organize and then the city participates in, or is that something that the city is organizing and you're participating in?
I would suggest it to be something that the city would organize and we would just participate in it. I would like for this to be a city-driven process versus an organizational process.
Gotcha. Anyone else? Questions for Mr. Williams? Ms. Riley?
I don't have a, well, I do have a question. And the mayor asked, who would be taking the lead on it, whether it be the NAACP or whether it would be the city. And you said you would like to have the city actually to be the one to move things along, right? But on the other hand, but you are saying that the NAACP will be 100% supportive with this, and they will support.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether the
we
city
have a proposal in our recommendations, but we would just make the recommendations to whatever committee was formed by council. And because there's different ways that you can form a hybrid system. It could be a 3-4, it could be 5-2, it could be all 7. And so we may have a suggestion that says it's 3-4, but that suggestion is just a suggestion on our part. But we would certainly want to offer our suggestions at any committee group that's formed.
Okay.
I would just, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
Additional thoughts?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, I would certainly support the idea of looking into it. I think anytime you can get a bunch of people together to give their thoughts on something, especially something so important as the makeup of this particular body, I think that's a great idea. I don't know how many people will be interested, but it would be worth it to try to find out and see. I think that you're right in a lot of the things that you say. I know I'm not a lot of times not supposed to, as the mayor, give my own opinion up here, but I'm pretty sure that of the 8 that normally sit up here, 6 of us live in the same neighborhood. So regardless, Kirby used to be on the board, for example, and he ad nauseum would talk about the Kenwood neighborhood, and I mean, it seemed like every other word out of his mouth was Kenwood. But he represented that neighborhood, and he knew what was going on there, and people that lived in that neighborhood knew that they could go to him and say, hey, this is something that's going on in our city. I know you live here, I know you. So that part of the idea is certainly great to me. My biggest concern with the idea would be policing where someone actually lives. And that's been a problem even in the past in elections of people running for council, being elected to council that don't actually even live in the city of Fort Walton Beach, let alone in a particular neighborhood. So that might be tough, but I think it is worth it to investigate and see if the population would want that change.
I agree. And that's why I would suggest this process. Like I said, we were prepared to do a petition drive. I have even the language already developed for the petition, if you will. But I just think that would be sort of forcing things on people versus having people have an opportunity to have input in whether or not they would even choose to do it. And trust me, if we felt that there was no reason, that there wasn't any public support for this idea, then it would be no reason for us to continue to push it out.
Well, I'd be happy to help with it, and I can certainly work with city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and see what we can put together to get some feedback from some people in some various spots and see what kind of appetite there is for it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, yes.
Can I try to play a motion to help support that?
Go for it.
Okay.
Please do.
So moved to, with the NAACP, to work with the city of Fort Walton Beach to execute the ask of forming a study group I was really sold on the neutral expert part. That, as well as recommending a timeline that, if I heard it right, included not a fast pace.
Correct.
And, as far as resources goes, really being, to include in the motion, really being NAACP led, with coordinating with data or history. I know about 10 years ago, we used to have districts. So I'm sure there's a lot of information that we could have at fingertips to support this study group, or forming a study group with neutral experts and with the recommended timelines, so that we can have the conversation, but really being heavy on your vision with the NAACP, and we're here to help support the forming of a study group with the recommended timeline that comes out of the vision.
Okay.
Second. I'm sorry.
All right. Deborah, were you trying to say second as well?
I think we said it, yeah.
Well, I'm giving it to you on this. We got a motion
Thank you,
by
Mayor.
Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilwoman Riley to move forward in Councilman Schmidt's vision there. Go ahead.
That's it. Also too, very sensitive to staff's time. Like this past 6 months, there's been a lot of time with the charter amendment and the committee that was stood up to put. And I respect the fact that you don't want to, or you could do the petition drive, but that takes a lot of time and effort too. So hopefully you understand this is a good compromise to keep giving some staff and the mayor's vision as well to work with NAACP to have that conversation. So that's the intent of the motion.
Anyone else wish to comment?
Can I ask an investigative question, just if it passes? The thought is it'll be the mayor, city manager, myself, meeting with NAACP to kind of figure out the initial steps to take. Is that kind of the thought?
Yeah, with leaning heavy on the mayor,
Yeah.
and then, city attorney and city manager working with whatever designee or you that you have. So thank you for asking.
We'll go with that. Councilman Jeter.
Anytime we can collaborate in the community and trying to find a way to communicate and compromise, that's always a good thing. I look forward to seeing what comes of it.
Agreed. Anyone else wish to comment?
I would like
Ms.
to
Riley.
be a little bit heavily involved in it too, but I can tell you right now, I honestly 100% support it, and specifically with public engagement, because I believe that, the public needs to be educated. And with this study group, I hope it come about where it's some town hall meetings where a lot of our public really don't even understand that large election. We have a lot of members of it that really don't. And so I really like public engagement, and I see it all the time, hey, democracy for other people by the people. So I think the people need to be involved in it and be educated in it. So I appreciate you, adding that component in there. Yeah, because everybody's voices need to be heard.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to comment on the motion? Council, please vote. Ms. Barnes, you want a yay or nay? There we go. The motion does pass unanimously. Thank you, council. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for being here and presenting that to us. Appreciate that. All right, moves us on to the consent agenda. Any action on this, council?
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Merrill, to approve tonight's consent agenda. Any additional comments?
No, sir.
Council, please vote. The consent agenda does pass unanimously, which moves us to mayor and council comments tonight. We start with Councilman Merrill.
Yep, I just wanted to follow up from last council meeting. We talked with the One Hopeful Place about amending the lease with a contingency that they come to the table for the land swap. Forgive me if I misunderstood it, but I believe the contingency was that they come to the table for the land swap, not that they complete a land swap. And I just wanted to make sure that we were moving forward with the lease, because if they came, which they have, come to the table in good faith about the land swap for the First Street property, I don't see any reason for us to hold up their building improvements that they have a grant for at One Hopeful Place. So is that something that we would just give direction to possibly have for the next meeting, or would that require some sort
I
of-
think we just received the offer today from them. They actually sent it to Jason midday, and I received it right before the meeting. So they've met that was the contingency. They've met the contingency by at least starting that discussion, if that's how you interpret it.
So would we be able to see that amended lease?
So we can start the lease negotiation. Yeah, we can start that. So obviously, we'll start that tomorrow.
Awesome, yeah, perfect. That's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Riley.
I just want to commend Chief Page and the Fort Walton PD. I was very proud and very happy to see that they received their accreditation. And I also want to tell you, great picture. To our city manager, great picture. Yeah. So I read the article and saw the photos in there, and so I just wanted, I can't thank Chief Page enough, and I appreciate his officers for protecting, our lives and the safety of our community. Thank you.
Councilman Schmidt.
Just to piggyback off Mr. Merrill, whenever negotiations are going on, that's going to have to come back to the board with whatever the negotiated lease would be, correct? And to include whatever you said a proposal came in this evening or this afternoon, in that public environment, we have a chance to continue negotiations at that time for the lease. I mean, the negotiated lease is still contingent on the board's approval, correct?
Correct. Well, I think Mr. Davis and I will work the lease out with them. That will come before y'all probably the next meeting if it gets done by then. If y'all also want to discuss their proposal, which I don't know if Jason had a chance to send it to you yet or not, now that y'all all have that, then y'all could also put that on the next agenda too if y'all want to discuss that as well. It's a separate item.
I mean, it definitely needs to be discussed. I know there was action taken last meeting. I appreciate Mr. Merrill bringing it up, looking for clarity. We just got a proposal this afternoon. I don't move as fast as ChatGPT, but it sounds like negotiations are happening. But before we just unilaterally say, hey, they checked the box and submitted a proposal, we're going to move forward with whatever they asked for to amend the property. I still would like to at least counter to their whatever said proposal and hear what their said proposal is. But it sounds like y'all are negotiating that, and whatever that is would have to come back in front of the board.
I don't know if Jason intends on counter proposing or not. I think that would be a discussion to have with him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I literally got it at 3 o'clock now. So I sent it to you guys at 3 o'clock, 3:15-ish. So I need to dive into it, but it's a substantial ask.
Okay.
It's a lot to receive right before a meeting and digest it and communicate to y'all.
For sure. I just want to make sure that doesn't mean that they're still going to be able to move forward with whatever the other asks that they had to develop on the property just because they submitted a proposal. I guess that's the clarity I'm looking for. Because they submitted a proposal, does that mean they can just move forward with what they wanted to do?
I think they still have to enter into the lease first, so that lease will come back before y'all at the next meeting. And I think we have the green light based on the motion from the last meeting now to continue the lease negotiation and get that drafted and before y'all still have to vote on that lease. Though.
Copy. Thank you, sir. I would like to also reiterate, those who weren't at the CRA meeting, the initiative that we're having with the Cleanest City of the Emerald Coast is something that is from public safety to growth management to park and recs, everybody's working extremely hard to make that happen, but also to the community groups and the non-for-profits that have done street cleanups and the different organizations. So I know at times, just like any proposal that different people do in their businesses or in the community or at churches, sometimes things kind of pan out. I want to try to keep that fan and keep that going and working with our staff and working with our community. So want to just encourage you to reach out to our friends in dispatch that are very professional, that will take calls, but anything of concerning, whether it's something going on in a park or panhandling or things outside, please call the non-emergency dispatch line 850-833-9546. Very non-confrontational. They'll take the information and evaluate whatever the situation is. We have the most probably friendly community with the resources that our churches and community offers, including One Hopeful Place. I firmly believe a lot of people just don't always know where to contact or how to contact to get the information out. When the information gets out, Chief Page and the team do a phenomenal job of trying to coordinate the ones who need help. Boom, there's great resources there for that. The ones who don't want help or that keep doing things that are breaking laws, we need to try to fulfill that need too. So that'll help coordinate that if you can call dispatch and identify that. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Brown.
I'll save mine for the end, Mayor.
Councilwoman DeBerry.
I'll save it.
Councilman Jeter.
Yes, sir. I got a few if you don't mind. I'd like to thank Pastor Bill Elwell for always coming in here and not just giving such an incredible prayer, but he has been very instrumental in our community. Welcome. And I've been attending the preschool down here for many, many years, and it's always just been a drop-off. And he is out there in the morning saying good morning to all the kids, asking them what they ate for breakfast, talking to them about their day, and the kids love him. Obviously, we love him when he comes here as well, but he's also got a lot of insight on some things that they've done in downtown Mobile to improve some things if we haven't had time to really pick his brain and get some knowledge yet. I think he's very knowledgeable about what we're going through in our current downtown, and I would love to learn more from you when you have time in a formal setting or informal setting. So just thank you for everything you're doing in the community, from the kids to helping us clean up downtown. So thank you. Second, we had our TDD meeting this morning. For everybody who don't know, that's the tourism tax that comes from people that come from out of state that come here and pay taxes to stay here. We approved a $90-something million budget a month ago. That's about close to $50 million in revenue a year. We do a lot of great things with that money, even though they all don't happen here. It's just really, really cool. We had some of our staff go there today, and I've talked to them since we left, and it's kind of like a, wow, I didn't know I was doing all that. So it's really just a thank you, and we're blessed to live in such a great area that other people, matter of fact, one of the slides today, Expedia did a study on the top 10 vacation spots researched or looked at in the world. You had Spain, Mexico, Australia, I don't know if y'all remember the slide.
Yeah, Okinawa, Japan.
Japan, and it didn't say, it said exactly these words: Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
All right.
So
let's go.
Let's go. It's really cool to see. But we're taking a lot of those TDC tax dollars and we're doing awesome parks in Crestview, and we're making trails, and we're doing this and doing that. We're doing beach renourishment. We're doing bike trails. So our entire county gets to benefit, and we get to use things, and it's just really cool knowing that our kids and grandkids get to use all these things for the next 20 or 30 years that our tourists pay for. So really, really great, positive stuff. We're blessed to live in such an awesome area. And then I was going to follow up on some of the things that Councilmember Schmidt said about the CRA. We had a great CRA meeting at 4 o'clock. We talked about some new lights downtown. We talked about cleaning up some blight. We talked about spending some money and doing some great things. And we also talked about that phone number to call. Our police department is awesome. They're willing to help, and can't tell you how many people I talked to. It's that almost that in between of, well, I didn't know who to call, or I didn't want to bother 911 with that, or I didn't want, no, this is a direct number that you can call, and our police department will come help you. They're there to help you. They want to help you. I've done ride-alongs with police officers. A lot of times they're waiting on that call. So call if you see something. They're there to help. So I'll save the rest for later.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of things to mention quickly. One, Mr. Barry and I and Ms. Riley were all there at the grand opening of the brand new express lane on Okaloosa Island for your cars. Not at all what it's for. The bike and walking path was very, very neat. Great little ceremony. Bit Wizards. Vince Mayfield gave an absolutely fantastic speech at that grand opening, and my youngest son got to see himself on TV holding a shovel, so he was very excited about that. Choctaw Fort Walton Beach game. That was a bit of a blowout. Councilman Schmidt saw you there, but congratulations to Choctaw, man. They're incredible. I went to the Fort Walton Beach Buccaneers game. James Leibowitz asked me to come out and flip the coin for the game there for the junior team. I walk out to the middle of the field with the referees, and I hear him on the microphone say, "And now to do the coin toss, the Honorable Mayor, Dick Reynerson." So that was a good one, but he apologized and corrected himself. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was the United Fidelity Bank Community Day, which was this past Saturday, I saw Ms. Riley and Mr. Browning there, and what a great event that really is. All the charities, bunch of charities come together there in the parking lot, tons of kids, just everybody having a good time. They do that every year around this time of year, so if you've never been to one, put it on your calendar for next year, because it's a really neat, free, fun little afternoon for an entire family. That moves us to public comments. If you have something you'd like to say to this board or to your fellow city residents, that's not on the agenda tonight. please step forward, state your name and address.
James Leibovitz, Canterbury Circle, Fort Walton Beach, and I'm here tonight because I owe someone an apology. Saturday, Fort Walton Beach was one of the 4 cities in the Panhandle to host the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round. And we had 2 teams in 2 separate games, and we invited the mayor. And the mayor came, and I had the high honor of being in the press box, doing the PA. And well, when the time came, I said, the Honorable Mayor of Fort Walton Beach, Mayor Dick Reinerson. And I'm here tonight because I'm sorry. I wanted to be on the record.
Oh, goodness.
It was right. I was outside listening when he made that.
I've never received an apology so quickly from anyone, especially my wife. So this is great. This makes me feel good.
I've introduced Mayor Reinerson a few times. It was my first time introducing you. It was not intentional.
That's
the
totally
300 whatever people were there. I'm sorry for that, Mr. Mayor.
That's all right, man. I appreciate you inviting me. How did the game go?
Not too well.
Okay.
Both of our wild card teams lost.
Right.
The 2 teams that had a bye week play this Saturday in Defuniak Springs. So we still have 2 undefeated teams.
Gotcha.
We're probably going to bring home a Super Bowl trophy.
Beautiful. Well, that's great. If you do, please come back and let us know.
Outstanding. Can I do one other thing just while I happen to
Absolutely,
be
yeah. You got
at
3
the
minutes.
podium and I happen to have time?
You do.
And today happens to be my mother's birthday. So I just want to go on the record to my mother who's turning 82 today in Las Vegas, Nevada. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
Happy birthday. Let's go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on anything that's not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 11.1, financing and funding options regarding the recreation expansion. I believe that's you, Ms. Neighbors.
It is. Thank you, Mayor. As you guys know, staff was directed last meeting to bring back different financing options for the rec center expansion. I spoke at length with Jeremy from PFM, who is our guy that helps handle all of our debt options, and we decided that a bank loan option would be the best interest for the city. It provides the best combination of interest rates and financing conditions. It has a shorter issuance timeframe and lower cost of issuance. So before I go through those options, just a little background on the financial information. The overall cost of the project that was presented at last meeting was $7,059,312.75. We rounded this loan up to $7.5 million to cover costs of change orders and things like furniture and supplies and items like that for once the expansion is complete. We also decided to look at Liza Jackson Park in this debt. As you guys know, the county has pledged $1 million, and so this is going to get rolling soon here in the next few months, and the city will have to put up front about $2.5 million for this project to be complete. The irrigation loan that we had on the books for a while falls off the books this year. We already paid it at the beginning of this year to save about $16,000 in interest. That was about $300,000 that we were paying annually in the general fund, so that gets freed up as of next fiscal year. One item to note, that we do still have that $3 million balloon payment on the original rec center that comes due in July of 2028. Right now, we only have $850,000 that is restricted for this payment, but staff is working together with the auditors this year to see what additional funds we can restrict at the end of the 25 fiscal year process. So there were 2 options that we looked at. One was the one that included Liza Jackson, and one is just the rec center. The one that included Liza Jackson was for $10 million, and the one for the rec center was $7.5. After speaking with Jason and my grants manager, we do have the $1.6 million reimbursement from the landing grant coming back that will fall back into the CRA fund. So I felt it was more financially prudent to not add the Liza Jackson Park back in and pay for that out of CRA funding, so we'd have a lower debt cost. So there's 2 different ones that we could look at. There was the bank loan, which I said is the one that we recommend, or the bond. So out of the bank loan, there is a 15-year option and a 20-year option. I'm recommending the 15-year option, even though the payment is higher at around $700,000. We're going to save about a little over $1 million in interest. And the reason that I chose this, and I know that we had talked last meeting about the TDC possibly funding a portion of this, as Bryce had mentioned, the TDC meeting was this morning, and myself, Daniel, David, and Wendy all went. They awarded us $400,000 annually for the loan, or 4/7 of the loan, whichever is less. So between the TDC funding it and then also the 300,000 dropping off, we can make it work and move forward. There's also it's the interlocal agreement, right? And basically that's just saying that if TDC funding for some reason stops, because you know how sometimes the legislature starts talking about that, it would fall back on us in the general fund. And also that future councils still have to use it for the tourism tournaments. So we'll be working with them on that, with Craig Coffey and Charlotte Dunworth on that. So staff respectfully recommends City Council authorization for staff to work with PFM and execute option 2, the bank loan for the 15-year term. And of course, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But whichever one we do, the more detailed information will come at the next meeting in November with PFM.
Gotcha. All right. I know this will be a popular topic. Questions for Ms. Neighbors? Councilman Schmidt.
Yes, the information about the rec center, the 15-year loan, TDC, roughly $400,000 annually. But you also mentioned about Liza Jackson, you recommend on the CRA route.
Yes.
I know the next item we're getting ready to get to, the Gum Creek and moving forward with that or not, to get the rec center expansion with hopefully this funding executed. But what would the timeline be like on the Liza Jackson side? Would they go parallel with each other? Is that more of Mr. Payne or Mr. Davis' question?
That would probably be more of a Mr. Payne question on the timing. We're working on the bid, I know that, in the purchasing department, but I don't know about execution and all of that.
Thanks for the funding information.
So just a quick status on the Liza Jackson project on there. So the plans that we have for the improvements of the park are done. The permitting for the water stuff is caught in the federal bureaucratic core deal that we've dealt with before. So up until, I don't know, probably a few months ago, what do you do? Because that work is not authorized to perform, and with shutdowns, I don't know. At some point in time, we feel like, man, we just got to put it out there. We ran in this to the landing, and it drugged the landing on for years more than it needed to be. It would be bid with the understanding that you probably just have to do the upland improvements on that side, and the boat ramp, the pier, and that waterward improvement stuff would not be able to happen on that side. That's where.
How long do we have to spend that $1 million that the county's granted us? Do we know?
I don't think there was a timeline. They were very open with it, and exactly what we could spend it on within the project, but I'll double check and see, but I don't think there was a timeline on it.
That's probably fiscal year. Usually they kind of think those things out, so I think that would be their time.
Okay. Thank you for y'all's efforts, especially hearing what Mr. Jeter mentioned about the TD meeting, as well as Cole and staff showing up to get attention and to try to procure some of this funding. So thank you for that funding information. That's all I got for now.
Councilman Jeter.
Yes, we've been working on both of these for a long time, so I love to see both of them come to fruition. When you're breaking them apart and doing option 2, connecting some dots here, we just kind of heard Daniel's timeline. We've got the $1 million from the county. You said the 1.6 we're getting back from the landing.
Yeah,
we're
starting.
On that?
We'll get that back hopefully this fiscal year in the next few months.
Okay, so we have that 1.6. We're going to put that 1.6 with the $1 million from the county, and we're at 2.6 trying to fund a
$3.5 million.
Okay, so
we'll replenish.
So
CRA
separating those, you still feel confident that we're going to get the other one done? Because I really think both of them are just as high level priority, but we can get one done, knowing we're going to get the other one done very quickly as well.
As quick as, yeah.
Yeah. We're waiting on some things.
I'll have the money
there you
for
go.
this year.
Got it. That's my only question. Make sure I'm going both.
Anyone else? Questions? Mr. Merrill?
So trying to understand everything, staff's recommending option 2. Is it the bank loan or the bond?
The bank loan, we decided not to look at the bond.
Okay.
Well, we looked at it, but decided not to go that way.
And my hesitation last time came from looking at staff and saying, we don't have any we don't have the number that's dedicated from the TDC yet, which you guys have. And then also, do we have the money to do this? I feel like it's a little different this time. I feel like you're saying, like, with this is possible.
Yeah, with the TDC meeting this morning, having the approval, I feel a lot more comfortable with it.
That's what matters to me, so.
Gotcha. Anyone else questions on this? Would anyone from the public like to speak on this particular item? Not only would no one like to speak, they're running away.
Finance usually does that to people.
Council, do you wish to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, so move staff's recommendation to execute option 2, a bank loan, 15-year term.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Schmidt to approve staff's recommendation and execute option 2, the 15-year term bank loan. Additional comments, Councilman Jeter.
Thank you for having all this prepared tonight, Nicole. Thank you for going to the TED meeting this morning, by the way, was all the way in Crestview at 8:30. But thank you, Daniel. Thank you, David. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Nicole. There's a lot of people working hard behind the scenes to, again, receive this funding. It's a benefit to the local residents, and it's also going to be a benefit to our tourists. So it's a great project to see get completed. So thank you for all the work everybody's put in for many, many years to get to this point.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, just piggyback off that, from many, many years to most recently, this past 2 weeks, a lot of efforts was taken to procure $400,000 a year through that tourist funding that Mr. Jeters does a great job working with that staff and the community. So it's really a team effort. Thank you for getting it to this point, and I hope we get the support of the board.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Council, please vote. And it does pass unanimously. Just before we move on to the next item, I also want to echo that sentiment that Councilman Schmidt just gave to Councilman Jeter. Councilman Jeter has been a fantastic representative of our city on that board for the entire time he's been up here. Always keeps us aware of what's going on and always represents our city so we get the most money possible. I truly do believe that. That moves us to item 11.2. which is the continued consideration of award of ITB 25-011, the Recreation Complex Expansion. Mr. Payne.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Tonight in front of you, you have continuation from last meeting. On that end, there's really not anything to change other than the financing that we had on the financial side. Just to kind of refresh the background. The property we're talking about is 203 Hollywood Boulevard. It's the old City Field Office Complex. It's roughly a 12-acre site, and it's got a long history. But most recently, it was identified as a council for an expansion to the existing rec complex, and our purchasing department issued a bid in June 24th earlier this year, and that scope includes a 2,000 square foot recreation operations building, which replaces the existing structure that is not suitable for the operations that are there. A restroom building, 4 multi-purpose turf fields, pickleball courts, associated parking to address some of the parking deficiency we have on Jet Drive, kind of consolidate the parking over to the front.
And Martisa Road.
And make it a whole fully functional rec complex. And that scope was reduced from the time that we've historically done this before. The lowest responsive bid we got was from Gum Creek Farms out of Defuniak Springs. And what it was all said and done, shaken out with the unsuitable material removal and some of the alternate stuff that we have. Right now, we have a roughly $7 million price tag on that side. There is a few uncertainties on there, but we feel like with the note and the financing that we have, we'll be able to address those on that end. The recommendation we have is for City Council to award invitation bid number 2501, Rec Complex Expansion, to the lowest responsive bidder, Gum Creek Farms, Inc. of Defuniak Springs, in the amount of $7,059,312.75, including alternates and additional allowance for Class 3 waste disposal. In addition, on a separate motion we have, staff also requests the City Council authorization for the City Manager to negotiate a contract with Gum Creek Farms and to approve project change orders up to 10% of the bid amount on that side. There is a third, but I do believe that's already been taken care of in the previous item. So.
Thank you, sir. Questions for Mr. Payne? Councilman Schmidt.
Parking. I know it's in this agenda packet, but rough estimate, how much extra parking are we getting?
Good question. So I do believe it's over, I can tell you right now.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Multiple pages.
So parking wise, we are at, yeah, I know. Over 200.
Thank you,
We'll say
sir.
that. It's a little blurry with my eyes on
All right.
this sheet size.
And follow-up question if I can to that. Any chance the adjacent property owners have any place to relocate, and not suggesting they do need to relocate, but is there any opportunity that those two businesses are moving before their lease ends? And if they do, feel free to keep that on the radar and bring it back with the neighboring property being this. I just didn't know if it ever hit the desk of.
I'm not privy to any. Are you talking about businesses to the west?
Yeah, with the Smith
Ironworks and
Smith Ironworks.
I'm not privy to any of those discussions.
Just
so
curious
not-
why we're having on this parcel. I'm ready just to be in question format now, but didn't know if it made it there. So thank you for that other information. All right.
Anyone else, Councilman Jeter?
On your second motion that you like separate, that for the city manager to approve change orders up to 10%, that's standard operating procedure on a project of this size.
That's that's a good point. For a project this size, that's what we have done in the past. It helps streamline some of the things for me and Jason, because it's not always above, it's below. Officially, what we run into before is if we did something on a cost-saving deal and it was still above the amount that was in the purchasing policy, even if it was a deduct, we had to take it back. And in the sake of getting stuff done, it streamlines, everything to keep it moving, or else we're, waiting or pausing or doing that.
Got it.
Anyone else questions on this? I've got one for you, and I think you know exactly what I'm going to ask. So in that roughly 200 parking spaces that we're talking about on that property right there, as someone who used to work on that exact site right there and who remembers the way that parking lot previously looked, do we have any kind of guarantee on the length of time that this parking lot is going to last? And is there work being done deep below where that parking lot is going to be, so that we're not ending up with a choppy day on the bay?
Correct.
As a parking lot?
So
in 5 years, 10 years?
So we do have, one of the good part, this process all started back on the existing field office complex project, 6-7 years ago. So the geotechnical evaluations and stuff that we have over the way, we have recommendations for those from people way smarter than me, right, on the soil side, for what those pavement sections being, whether it's removing that stuff, that's why we wanted to put some of that stuff in the bid, for the parking lot, to over excavating and removing for the buildings, or pre-loading sites and things like that. So guarantees,
right,
not stopping short of one, but we at least have addressed it, we feel like, in a professional
But it's
manner.
baked in there that either stuff needs to come out or more stuff needs to go in one way or the other, that it's going to make it as good as they can make it.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action?
Mr. Mayor, so move staff's recommendation to award bid 25-11 for the rec complex expansion to Gum Creek Farms of Defuniak Springs, Florida, in the amount of $7,059,312.75, including alternates and additional allowance for Class 3 waste disposal.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Schmidt, to approve the award of ITB 25-011 for the recreation complex expansion. Any additional comments?
No, sir.
We said before, thanks for the efforts, but also too, this is going to impact a lot of local other folks that are going to be visiting us and doing a lot of great things. So thank you, staff. I know this is the second time we've awarded it now to the community, and this time I'm very confident that we're going to execute. So thank you.
Anyone else? Council, please vote.
And does a second motion needs to be made, I think, for the mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the city manager to approve project change orders up to 10% of the bid amount.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Browning to approve the city manager to make change orders up to 10% of the bid amount. Any additional comment?
I like what Daniel said. Sometimes they're 10% less. A lot of times in construction they're 10% more, but this is standard operating procedure, and this will keep the project moving on a fast timeline.
Sure. Anyone else? Council, please vote. That motion also passes unanimously. Moves us on to item 11.3, the award contract for software agreement with Central Square Technologies Limited Liability Company. Ms. Neighbors.
Thank you, Mayor. I think everybody should just be really excited about this. We know how outdated and obsolete our software is getting. We're using a DOS-based system pretty much throughout the city. I'm going to kind of tag team this one with Jeremy, the IT director. And then we also have Central Square on Teams to answer any questions. So if Jeremy, if you want to go up first, kind of where we looked at a few different vendors, software vendors, and he's going to kind of explain why we went with Central Square.
Good evening.
Good evening. Jeremy Willis, IT Director, City of Fort Walton Beach. As much as I would love to know how you all sound when you're snoring, I'm going to try to keep this high level and non-technical. So, the ultimate goal here is to improve efficiency, remove on-site hardware, move us to a more modern, capable system. We did look at a total of 4 different options. Central Square was one of them. We also looked at OpenGov. We also looked at Civic Plus and Microsoft Dynamics. Ultimately, we're going with Central Square because they currently host about 30 years of city data, and that is on it's not DOS, it's OS 400.
Sorry.
1988. Yeah.
It's better than 82.
It does look like DOS. The transition of that data from an old system like that to a new system is very difficult. And I think Central Square has a lot of proprietary systems and mechanisms in place to help facilitate that data move without overly taxing staff. So, any questions technically?
Technical questions. Councilman Jeter.
Is this the same software the police department just switched to as well?
No.
No? What software?
Yeah, so they have Tyler, that's a computer-assisted dispatch system. And now Tyler does offer an ERP system, and I don't believe that we have reviewed that one specifically. We didn't get great feedback from local. Yeah, I was about to say from local interest, we didn't really get good feedback, so.
Will the two be tied together at all? And the reason I ask is I feel like Chief Page gave us a presentation at one point in time that said once we get, maybe it was Central Square, he would have better reporting on some data and calls. Or no, the two aren't going to mix at all. They're totally separate from this.
They're pretty separate in their purposes entirely. So
10-4, and he's not here, so I'll ask him directly.
Anyone else? Questions from Mr. Willis? Ms. Riley?
I was going to ask you, the law enforcement with Chief Page, his database is going to be a little different. Wouldn't that be more catered toward?
What exactly?
Opposed to,
sorry.
I guess opposed to your Central Square. Wouldn't that a difference? I guess I was trying to figure out how do you tie those two in together. We're receiving the data that Councilman Jeter had just mentioned. It seemed like they would be two different.
They're two totally different.
Yeah, totally two different. Yeah.
So Central Square, what we're replacing here is called an ERP, which is an enterprise resource planning system. It handles purchases and your finances and stuff like that. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Questions? No? Ms. Neighbors, do you have additional?
Yeah, so I just want to go over kind of the costs and the financial information, and then actually have Craig or one of the people from Central Square kind of clarify something. So doing the pricing, so it's a software and then the service. The software portion is for enterprise asset management and the finance enterprise, and that's going to cost $153,240. And then for the services, which is the consulting for all the implementation, the data conversion, the project management, technical service, is going to be $192,605. These two total $345,845, and we have that already currently. We made sure we budgeted for new software in fiscal year 25-26, so we're good there. The annual subscription cost going forward will be $153,240. And Central Square was really awesome. We told them about our charter amendment and our cap, and they tried to help us out as much as possible. I think it first came in at an annual 5% increase, but they did it so years 1 and 2 is a no increase, so it'll cost the same. Years 3 through 5, the 3% increase, and then years 6 plus, a 5% increase. Craig, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Craig. Can you, I know we spoke, I know we spoke about it at the end of last week and we're trying to go back and forth on it. Can you just describe the implementation versus when the annual subscription cost is going to start?
Sure. So the annual subscription, so when the software is delivered to, the end users, that's when the actual annual starts. When the renewal will start post that delivery of the software. For the services, so the implementation then starts, it's called a payment milestone. We have 5 milestones per product. So today you have 2 products that we're going to be providing you. It's called Finance Enterprise and Enterprise Asset Management. So in total you'll have 10 different milestones that you pass as we go along the implementation process.
Okay, so the total cost will be the $345, $845, and then that just the annual after all of this is implemented and we're live and we're in there and we're doing it will be the $153, $240, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, we were going back and I just want to clarify it in front of council just to make sure. So it is budgeted for.
Gotcha. Thank you, ma'am. Questions from the board for Ms. Neighbors or for our friend Craig here? Seeing none, does anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action?
So move staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Jeter to approve and award the contract for software with Central Square Technologies, LLC. Additional comments?
Yeah, this is a big lift, and you know way more about the technical side than we do. But thank y'all for lifting this special project and getting us up to par, if not farther than par, and a higher standard. And I know this is a project that a lot of directors will benefit from and make things more efficient. And the end user, ultimately the taxpayer, hopefully having a better experience as well. So thank you.
Anyone else? Council, please vote. Does pass unanimously. Moves us to item 11.4, the Recreation Center fee structure for aftercare and summer camp. Mr. Davis.
Thank you. So, just before Tiffany left, a parks team started to evaluate just internal processes. And Wendy ended up doing the heavy lifting here. So ultimately we found that the VPK, aftercare, daycare, summer camp program was trending in a bad direction in terms of the money that we were spending and recouping to the little bit more than 6 figures a year it was losing, basically, right? So we met with the Early Learning Coalition team, and they made some recommendations, one of which being catered to special needs children, catered to people that work night shifts, so we'd have to run an overnight program. And there was one other, infants, I want to say was the third, to try to get more attendance, because right now we have 4 in the VPK. Ultimately, their advice was to get out of the VPK business, because not just for Walton Beach, it's like statewide. This is a common thing where the numbers are drastically reduced. And I think, going from memory, I think she said it's because schools are offering this now. So it was basically just their recommendation that we get out of the business. And they offered to help place the students. I mean, I think it's just the right thing to do to let this, if let's just say we do end up getting out of the VPK business, to at least let those students finish out the school year, and then we can regroup, but we can discuss that. Then the second recommendation they suggested was to look at our fee structure overall for the aftercare and the summer camps, and I mean, we were drastically out of market. So the team kind of did some research, and ultimately, if we have the same numbers, whether they're residents or out-of-city residents, from last year to this year, instead of losing 100,000, we would actually make 18 to 20-ish. There's some assumptions baked in there, right? That's assuming no overtime. People are going to get sick, so you got to cover the shifts. We had to change some of the fee structure. It's almost quadruple in the fees just to get us into the market. We're still probably going to be the lowest cost, but so we might not get the numbers. We're making assumptions that we have the same numbers. That being said, we have a Poly and a Myra, and everybody loves them, so you know, it's a very popular program. That's kind of where we're at. We need to adjust the fee structure, and I baked it in the agenda here so you could digest what the recommendations are. But that's kind of where we're at. So some of the other concerns, I guess, I have, was it Elliott Point or Elliott Park? It's a school. Apparently today they decided to get into the business themselves. The concern is a lot of our participants, if you will, go to that school, so there's a concern that we might lose half of our people right off the bat, right? Because they go to that school already. So that's just something to think of. In working with the ELC, they suggested, and I don't hate the idea, that if we do get out of this business altogether, we partner with them, and similar to what we do with Nathan Sparks Group, and the swimming pool people, we just write them a check for 10 grand as opposed to losing the 100 grand, but they're really good at placing kids and helping them with this sort of thing. So that was their request if we end up hunting altogether. But I again, assuming everything trends as it did last year, we're not losing money. Also, another concern is I don't want to go a year and then say, hey, it didn't work, we only got 5 kids, we lost our t-shirt again. And I just feel it's tough on the kids to be changing all the time. We kind of circle back in a year and say, never mind, it didn't work, thanks for coming. So I have some concerns there, but I think we just need to, personally, we're all in or we're all out. And I think we have the team to do it, and we have some structure to it now. So it's kind of what I got for you, if you've got any questions.
Thank you, sir. Questions from the council? Councilman Jeter.
Were we able to compile any data on how many city residents currently use it?
Yes.
How many of them are city residents?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but the numbers that we based on where that money would generate, yes. Do you know the numbers off the top of your head?
60 being city, 40 being non?
No.
Other way.
So 40% city, 60 non-city. And is that rate structured like our golf course and other places to where it's going to be more if you're not a city resident or less? Yes. And the Elliott Point, do we know what they're going to be charging and what they're going to be doing at their times?
$70 a week.
70 a week. And the times, will they be the same?
Until 6 p.m.
So they're going to do 6 a.m., 6 p.m. I first heard about that today too, because I was actually at the SAC meeting at Elliott Point myself and heard about that. And it's the only thing guaranteed in life is change. So It was interesting to learn all that today, but that's great that someone else, and when I was there, I kind of thought what you just said a minute ago. If we're losing VP cakes, it's going to the schools where it needs to be. Maybe daycare goes to the schools too, if that's where they already are and where it needs to be. So a lot of moving parts here, a lot of interesting people now coming to the table and trying to work this out. It's very interesting.
Questions, Councilman Browning?
What was their summer fees, their summer camp fees? Elliott Point.
The summer fees, they averaged for, let's see.
Like what is Elliott Point recommending for?
Elliott Point, everyone was over $150. And that's why I had come up with something saying 120, and we're still less than everyone else.
Okay. Other questions from council? Mr. Riley?
What I heard you say is 40% of the
City residents.
is city, and then 60% is county or non-county. So are you taking out of county too?
We would, yeah, but I don't think we've got any that's out of county.
Well, a lot of times, you know, when you have parents that work out of county,
Yeah,
they will prefer to have services in county. But, okay, well, what I can say, because I'm very familiar with the Early Learning Coalition, I've had many years of, you know, working with the ELC, and so it is a very good program. And what I also would like to add to that, a lot of the daycare centers do use Early Learning Coalition because they're great for subsidized, you know, income for the parents that are low to moderate income families. On the other hand, a lot of the school districts are beginning to take early learning programs. So I don't know how you all have it as far as do you do USDA, or is USDA involved in there in the feeding part of it? In the feeding part of your program, because you have to feed the children, is that correct?
Yes. Well,
so
we do not. We did offer snacks, and then that ended up, it showed that we are losing probably about $500 a month by doing that. So then Polly had started to where each parent would pay $50 a month. They took that away, and instead the parents were going to give snacks.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say, you've never used the USDA as a supplement, because that's probably where you probably on the food part of it. USDA is a great program, and they will supply whatever your snacks and need, where the city would have to pay for the feeding part of it. I just threw that in there, you know, maybe just up for discussion that the USDA may be an option in terms of the feeding part of it.
Anyone else questions? Councilman Schmidt?
When staff met with ELC, did they mention, I see in the background 1.3.2, Early Learning Coalition stated they would assist in the city relocating the 4 current BPK participants. With that context, did they mention anything about like a timeline about how soon or how late they would need to work to make sure those 4 families are
they acted as though they could place them immediately, because everyone is.
She said, say when.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is there's capacity within our, what, 10 miles, 50-mile radius that they could securely transition to
Next
that.
door,
Next door,
basically.
pretty much. Okay, so very close to the area. Okay, thank you, sir.
You got it. Anyone else questions?
I don't really have a question, but I wanted to just validate what ELC had mentioned. They do not like a break-in service, I can tell you that. So if the city is concerned about, you know, the children being having a break-in service, I think that they're true to their word. They'll be able to place them.
Yes, and they made that comment.
Gotcha. Councilman Brown.
So the ELC is not recommending we get rid of the entire program. They're recommending getting rid of VPK.
Correct.
And then you suggest I feel like some of us suggest letting them finish out the school year.
That's my opinion, yes, because I just, put myself in little kid shoes. Like now I got new teacher, new friends right in the middle of the school year, so it's probably somewhat traumatic, but I don't know if my parents would care. But it's just the way of processing it, and we've already built the budget out for the year to potentially, take care of these kids, but at the same time, if Early Learning Coalition promised me they could, they actually told me that 2 centers had to close today because the numbers are low, so, we're taking away from that private sector logic, if you want to look at it that way, but again, I just think it's the right thing to do. It's my opinion.
Anyone else? Questions?
I have a
Mr. Berry.
I heard mentioned that parents were requesting us to be open, the daycare to be open 24/7, like overnight?
No,
and
no.
I didn't hear that?
No, the Early Learning Coalition said to expand our numbers, that's a trend in that industry, is to offer overnights for people that work night shift.
Yeah.
And I have no interest in doing that because it's specialized staff and training and more costs. So
Okay, good.
It's
Good.
not something I.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, anyone else questions? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this, just please step up and state your name and address, please.
Hi there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Rudy Stransky, and I have lived in Fort Walton Beach past 15 years. Before that, I lived in Destin. It was an okay place to live, but it always felt a town run as a business, geared toward tourists and selected few. There wasn't much sense of community or belonging for families. When my family moved to Fort Walton Beach, we immediately felt a difference. The city had a heart. It was a safe, welcoming place to raise children with programs that truly supported working families. It was clear that the city priorities were focused on people, not profit. I voted for all of you because you promised to keep Fort Walton Beach the community we love, a place for families, not just businesses. That's why I'm speaking to you today. I'm deeply concerned about the city's consideration to reduce funding or eliminate the children's aftercare program. This program is essential for working parents, providing a safe, structured environment for their children after school hours. Removing or raising the cost of this program would have direct and painful impact on families who rarely rely on affordable care. Some parents could even be forced to reduce their work hours or leave their jobs, creating unnecessary financial hardship and weakening our community's stability. I understand the city must balance its budget. The projected operational revenue for 2025 to 26 is about $52.1 million, while expenditure total roughly $66.8 million, including capital projects. I also understand that the aftercare program is currently operating at a loss of around $100,000 per year. But that represents only 0.15% of city's total budget. For such a small fraction of our financial resources, this program provides enormous value to local families and the future of our community. There are ways to address the shortfall through modest budget adjustments, applying for grants, or seeking local partnerships, without taking away a service that so many families depend on. The long-term benefits of these programs are supporting child development, reducing youth risk, and strengthening family well-being far outweighs its modest cost. Please protect the aftercare program and preserve what makes Fort Walton Beach special, our commitment to family, safety, and community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stransky. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Shana Chandler. I sent an email, and I know I got some responses, but I thought I would also come and speak as well. I'm here this evening in hopes that you will reconsider the proposed changes to the Fort Walton Beach Recreation Center VPK after-school program and summer camp. Raising the cost of tuition may seem like a way to bring in more revenue quickly, but in truth, it will only hurt our community in the long run. When education becomes unaffordable, enrollment declines. Families who are already struggling simply cannot keep up. And when that happens, we lose more than students, we lose potential. Losing any of these programs will cost the community more than a service. We will lose a cornerstone of our community's fabric. Education should never be about making money. It is an investment in our collective future. When we invest in our children today, we are shaping the leaders, innovators, and productive citizens of tomorrow. Every dollar we place in education returns to us many times over in form of a stronger, more stable, and more vibrant community. And this issue, it extends far beyond tuition. Without affordable childcare, parents are unable to work. When parents are forced out of the workforce, families suffer, local businesses struggle, and our community weakens. Affordable education and childcare are not just luxuries. They are the foundation of a thriving, sustainable society. Raising tuition shouldn't be out of the question. However, we do ask that you consider the cost burden on the population. We must stand together and remind ourselves that success begins with opportunity. Let's choose to invest in our children, support our families, and secure a brighter future for everyone. Maybe you were lucky enough to have an educator or a caregiver in your life that made a difference, and you understand the importance of it. Miss Polly, Miss Ruby, Miss Janice, Miss Pat, and even Mr. Aaron have become that person for many kids. They get to know them, they pour into them, and they cheer them on, not just at the rec center, but everywhere in life. In closing, I leave you with this. 2 years ago, there was an incident that occurred at the rec center that many of you remember. It was a shooting. My husband and 2 of my children witnessed this event and were outside in the overhang when this happened. What you don't know is that those teachers quickly threw open that front door, grabbed my children, and brought them into safety. And you know, and the next day they went back. They were scared, but they went back, and they've gone back every day since. Not just because they have nowhere else to go, but because they feel protected and safe there. All of those members that work there, not just Miss Ruby and Miss Polly, but all of them, literally, it's like a family when you go in there. They speak to every kid. Every kid walks in and out of there, they speak. It's not like it's just a random person in, like that you see at a Walmart. Like, they know all the kids. And that's pretty much all I have. Sorry. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Chandler. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on this? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Sophia Ortiz, and I stand before you as to represent one of the child who went to the after-school care program. And these programs provide support for students, family, and community, and offer a safe structure environment where students can continue learning, building skills, and explore their interests outside of the classroom. For many working parents, the program also provides a reliable child care, peace of mind knowing that their children are engaged in a positive activities. And children can get their homework completed. In addition, after school and summer camp programs help boost academic performance and keep kids connected to caring mentors and peers. Removing them would take away the valuable opportunities for growth, creativity, and community connection. That would benefit everybody. I would like you to reconsider these changes and see beyond these numbers. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. That was very good. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on this item? Yes, sir.
Council members, evening. My name is Ray Garcia. I've lived in the city since 2010, had a 3.5-year break. Point of clarification, Elliott Point's going to charge 40 for before, 70 for after, and 85 for the week, which I believe is in line with what the current rate is. And then the thought that I would like for you all to consider is yes, the school is going to have it during the school year, but what about the after school when the school is over, right? What are those kids going to do? I believe there's about 30 plus families that are affected by this potential change. If it gets closed, there's 30 families that are going to be affected by all of this. Both of my kids went to this facility, and not once did they ever come back that day and say, I don't want to be there. The staff that was there back when Ms. V was working it, when it was Dosey Bass Rec Center over at LA Ferry Park, was fantastic. And that just transitioned when it went over to the rec center. So just please just consider everything to include what's going to happen when the school year is over and what's going to happen with those kids and those families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Craig Dukowski, and also I think an unintended consequence of getting rid of this program or changes is that the rec center is really like our family's home base, and we have and had our children involved in many of the activities there. whether it's the 850, the martial arts, and also tutoring. And with our work schedules, and we can send their stuff with them, and they can just go straight from there if we're working late. And then also on the tutoring end, it's, hey, they're there, grab them out, and they can get their tutoring done. So I think not just financially wise, but also with time constraints, if it were to go away, or, a lot of those things would have to get eliminated for a lot of families. And I think that'd be a negative.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Christina Alani. I have been a resident of Fort Walton Beach for the past 5 years this time around. I grew up in Fort Walton. I went to Edwins Elementary School. I went to the rec center for after-school programs. I went for cheerleading and football and all of the sports and activities. When I first moved back, my heart and soul for my daughter was to be in Fort Walton and to have that sense of community. When we first were looking at aftercare, VPK opportunities, as a single mom, it's very difficult to find somewhere that's going to work with an 8 to 5, 40-hour work week. When I tell you I spent 2 years on wait lists, I'm still on wait lists for VPK, and my daughter is in first grade now. When I tell you that there is not a program that surmounts to what this program has the ability to offer, the stability, the family, the community, the sense of protectedness that these teachers have over these kids. It's not at all about numbers at the end of the day. These kids are affected. I was affected when I started at this program 30 years ago. So all I ask for you is to consider not only the financial side, obviously that's a big hit for the city. Consider looking into other options, more marketing for the program itself, grants, partnerships with other community members, businesses in the area. I know when I first started, I reached out to the community and the businesses that I worked with at the time, and nobody had even been approached at an opportunity to partner with the community to keep the VPK or the aftercare program. So I understand the financial aspects. I also understand the impact it's going to have on the families, not only VPK after school and the summer program. I really implore you to think about the effects that it has on the community, the children, not only financially but emotionally as they go through this next school year wondering what's going to happen to the program. I just want us to be able to ensure that we are researching all of our options and extending every arm possible that we can to make sure that we have the ability to offer such a great program from the city to our young citizens in Fort Walton Beach. So that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Tammy Kokenauer, 31 Moriarty Street, resident of the city for 40 years now. The aftercare program and the summer program provides so much to the children in this community, and you are proposing a 400% increase in the fees. If you take a single parent that is making $17 an hour, that equates to over 1 month's salary for that individual, okay? These children need a safe place to go. 30 years ago, my son went to Dosey Bass aftercare program, and now my granddaughter attends the Jet Drive aftercare program. They have become her family. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kokenauer. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Cheryl Malagde, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And I go to the rec center 6 days a week. I do a lot of exercise classes there, and I must admit, I am embarrassed that I did not know how important this program was. That's always on that side. I see the kids, they're cute. There has to be a way. We just have to come up with a way to save this. We can't just give up on this easily. It's too important. After hearing some of these parents, I realize, oh my goodness, what's going to happen to these kids? So let's come up with a way to fix it.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none. Council, do you wish to take any action on this item?
Mayor, so moved to get staff to work with ELC. As they stated, they would assist the city in relocating the 4 current VPK participants, as well as any staff, not any sooner than what Mr. Browning mentioned, the beginning of the school year 2026. And if I have a second, I'll further.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Schmidt to, I believe, end the VPK program, but allow the 4 students currently enrolled to finish the current school year at the facility.
Correct.
Okay.
And with the background information, what I heard was, I think we all want the same thing, is to get 4 students educated. We all believe in the same thing, whether it's some of those presentations we heard there, or I think we all believe the student needs to be educated. I think it's a conversation about now where. Our sports complex, I understand it's great to hear how much our staff really is valued, and all the neat stories that we heard about how awesome our staff is doing is commendable. So it's not, Mr. Mayor, just ending the program, but more giving staff some action based off the background of the agenda, where ELC mentioned that they could facilitate, and also heard staff mention that there is capacity to work with these families to transition in our neighborhood area. I know we can go back and forth and have more conversation on why some staff likes our program better than others, and I respect that, but I just want to bring clarity to the motion.
And just so I have clarity as well as the people listening and watching, this motion does not address at all any change in the fee structure, correct?
Correct.
This is just VPK focused only on this particular motion.
That's it.
And then obviously council would be able to make an additional motion after this vote to address the fee structure or no action at all. So Councilman Jeter, I believe you seconded.
Yes, sir.
Additional comment?
Yeah, I'd like to echo everything Councilman Schmidt said, and I think all of us in this room, obviously we're all in here because we love kids, we care about kids, we want what's best for our kids up here as a city. Sometimes we have to do what's best for all of our city residents, and I think that's what we're doing here. I think the last young lady said, let's find a solution and work together. That's what we're trying to do here, is find a solution and work together. There's a lot of VPKs that are going under, like Mr. Davis said, because they don't have the students, and that kind of seems to be where we are. There's a lot of VPKs thriving. So let's work together with the people that are better at this than we are and see if we can get them in a better place. And that's all we're doing here. No one's against the kids. No one's against any programs. We all have known Janice and Aaron and Pat down there for years and done all those programs, and you know, they're like family to a lot of us. Matter of fact, Aaron was like family to me when he was out in Destin, and then he switched and went to Fort Walton. So a lot of times you got to be careful, because as soon as you fall in love with somebody and call them family, they can leave next year too. I'm not saying Aaron's going to do that at all whatsoever. I'm just saying that could happen too. So,
anyone else wish to comment on the motion? Councilman Merrill.
Yeah, I think Jason does a great job. Finds where money has to be moved, where money can be saved. We look at money being spent sometimes as a loss, but I look at this as an investment into the kids, into what we're doing. I know it's cheaper, it's not on par, but you look at the VPK program, I would be in support of that. Can I amend that motion?
You can either do a substitute motion.
Do a substitute motion.
Yeah, and if someone seconds that.
And if we end the VPK program, we don't change the fee structure.
Second.
Substitute motion by Councilman Merrill, seconded by Councilman Browning to eliminate the VPK program.
Same as they said, at the end of the year, finish out the year.
Right.
That's going to save some money. That's still going to be a loser as far as on black and white and paper, but it's not if you look at it what we're providing to the city. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Additional comments, Councilman Brown?
Yeah, I mean, it's recreation. Recreation's not meant to make money. If it was, then we would charge citizens to utilize the rec center, and we don't. So we don't look at that. We shouldn't look at it when it comes to children. So For those reasons, I support the motion.
Gotcha. Anyone else comments on the substitute motion?
Yes. Go ahead.
Ms. Riley?
I support the substitute motion because of the fact that if there's only 4 VPK students, and we're going to make sure that there's no breaking services, and I really think this is extremely important when you're dealing with early childhood education. No breaking services, and then if they're going to be transferred over, VPK ELC is going to help make sure that they transition at the beginning of the year. And if you're going to keep the fee structure the way it is, I'm totally in support of that.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Schmidt.
Like Mr. Merrill, you mentioned earlier on, can I just get clarity of what the amended motion is after Ms. Riley's comments as well?
My amended motion would eliminate the VPK program at the end of this year. So we're not relocating at the end of the school year. We're not relocating the kids. Going forward, though, without the VPK program, we would go forward with the current fee structure, not the suggested fee structure. So we wouldn't be raising the prices.
Good. Are you any other comments?
I'm good right now.
Okay. Judy.
That's just for this school year. So at the end of this school year, if we come back to any fee schedule and we look at this next year, maybe we offer more services, less services, kids go up, kids go down. We're going to revisit this at the end of the school year. This motion is just for this school year. Eliminate VPK at the end of the year. Don't touch the fee structure right now during the school year. But we may have to go back and revisit this next summer. Is that where you're?
I mean, the intention is to keep providing this. We're all up here, we can make motions and things can always be brought back up. This might give us time to explore grants. This might give us time to explore community partnerships. Maybe put together something for all the people that came out here to support this and emailed us to come up with something in that time that it doesn't have to be such a loss for the city, but it doesn't have to be put onto the parents. So, yeah, I mean, who knows?
Just a clarification, his motion does not include what you had, Mr. Peter, so his motion would have to be amended to add that. This would be killing the fee.
Right, there's no re-exploring.
No.
But obviously, anyone could re-explore anything at any time as a member of the council, and you wanted to bring it up and put it on an agenda.
Correct.
Councilman Schmidt, you good?
Got it on the fee structure for the rest of the school year, but it is the transition to get out of the business and to transition with the ELC at the end of the school year, or not?
I can clarify that.
Thank you, sir.
What he's suggesting, his motion is to let the VPK program run through the end of this current school year with those 4 students, and then end the VPK program with the help of the Early Learning Coalition to transfer those 4 students at the end of the school year, and then no more VPK program from the city of Fort Walton Beach. Also, to keep the current pay structure that residents, non-residents pay for their before care, after care, wraparound care, snack fees, summer camp, etc., the same as they are right now.
Thank you.
Brown.
I'll say too, most of these pre-K kids are going to kindergarten next year, so there should be little to no involvement with ELC. They all should know where they're going.
That's right.
Gotcha. Mr. G.
And people wanting to enroll next year will now know that we're not going to offer it because we're transitioning out of it. I'm going to support the motion simply because I do think there's a lot of people have emailed, a lot of people have come and spoke. We just learned today that another local school where the majority of some of you guys are attending, Elliott Point, could be offering that same service or program. So it'd be interesting to see the numbers and the data at the end of this school year and possibly come back and revisit. Maybe our numbers go up, maybe our numbers go down. We're going to have to revisit this again.
Anyone else wish to speak on this? Council, please vote. That motion does pass unanimously. Thank you everyone who came out to speak to that tonight and for all your emails and participation. That moves us to item 11.5. The Recreation Center fee structure for aftercare and summer camp. Didn't we just do that? Oh, we did. Let's not do it again. That moves us to item 11.6. We'll let everyone clear the room for a moment.
It's hard to go as well.
Thank you.
I will say before we move to item 11.6 here, Mr. Burns, in all the years that I was on the city council, I never had any idea that we could do a substitute motion in the middle of someone else's motion. I would have done that so many times.
It's a nice little trick.
Especially how quick Jeter gets to it. You got to put something out there.
Substitute motion. Got him. All right.
So there's no point being fast anymore.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter. Somebody second that substitute.
Like Jersey Mike's in here, just subs everywhere.
All right. We move on to item 11.6, proposed referendum ordinance amending charter, elections, term limits, vacancies, and filing fees. Mr. Burns, is you?
It is, and this is the proposed ordinance, which if you do pass it tonight, will come back for first reading in November and second reading in December, so it can be put on the March referendum next year. And the order these are going to be presented to you here tonight are not indicative of what order we think they should be put on the ballot. I'm actually going to ask you, after you've considered everything tonight, to maybe give some indication what the order you do want, because when we come back in November, we'll need to have the actual charter amendment, like number, the question number for the ballot at that point in time in the proposed ordinances. So this one does have the number 2 on it. That's just because it's the second one I did when I was drafting them. And so this particular one makes changes to sections 3, 4, 5, 7, and 25 of the city charter. And the ballot question is, shall those sections be amended for purposes of clarifying the nonpartisan nature of council seats, updating term limit provisions, establishing consistent procedures for filling council and mayoral vacancies, and providing flexibility in the establishment of filing fees for city elections. I was able to combine 5 of the sections into this one question. I could not figure out a way to fit any of the others. And so this deals with some of the proposed charter amendment preferences from the Charter Review Commission. I just ask tonight if y'all do, you do need to realize if you do pass this tonight that we are not going to be able to make any changes to this at first reading. So if y'all do want to make changes to it, let me know now. So.
Gotcha. Questions on this for Mr. Burns?
Yeah, just so I understand, with this, so this is how they're going to, this is just us voting how these are going to appear in what order?
No. When we get done with all these tonight, I'm going to ask y'all to tell me what order you want them in.
Okay.
Let's worry about that. This is just, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not yet.
This is just the important wording.
Important wording, and I'll let y'all fight over the order.
Perfect.
Any questions for Mr. Burns on the important wording of these items? Seeing none. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none. Council, do you wish to take any action?
So moved, staff's recommendation.
Second.
A motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Schmidt, to accept the recommendation of Mr. Jeff Burns, City Attorney, in the wording of the proposed referendum ordinance amending charter, elections, term limits, vacancies, and filing fees. Any additional comments?
Thank you, Mr. Burns, for all of your hard work during this process, and thank you for really doing some extensive research and working to condense these to prevent ballot fatigue. I can tell you worked really hard in doing that, so thank you.
Anyone else? Council, please vote. I bet nobody in the world thought that was going to pass that quickly.
Well, the point you brought up, Mr. Jeter, I will have, when y'all are talking about the order, I'll kind of broach. There are a few sections that are not covered in any of the ballots here tonight that the Charter Review Commission had made some suggestions to change. Ultimately, most of those sections can be changed by ordinance alone without a referendum. They're very ministerial. There's going to be 2 that can't, but I don't think, and they can't be placed on the ballot at all, but we'll discuss those at a point in time. Y'all might just want to maybe decide not to change those 2 sections, would be my recommendation, but we'll get to those in a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Item 11.7, proposed referendum ordinance amending charter, council meetings, and council governance. Mr. Burns.
And this is the ballot question to amend sections 6, 8, and 9 of the charter, and it's related to council meetings and governance. It is the provision that does discuss, let me scroll down real quick, when y'all might remember there was some discussion on what your powers were to, I think, discipline each other for missing enough meetings. You asked me to cut out anything that was not in line with state law, so I did that in section 9 in the proposed changes, and I took out the I think they had a number in the original suggested version that it indicated that I think they could provide like excuses, and so y'all asked us to take all that kind of other may-I stuff out of there. So that's what we've done here.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this for Mr. Burns? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to make a motion?
So moved, staff's recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Merrill, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to approve item 11.7 and the wording as written by Mr. Burns for the proposed referendum ordinance amending charter, council meetings, and council governance. Additional comments? Mr. Jeter.
Just like to say thank you again to Mr. Burns for moving the paragraph to Council Member Merrill's direction so that we're not up here playing Judge Judy deciding if someone has an excused absence or not. So thank you for removing that part.
It did leave the section in there. It says if you miss over half the meetings in the year and they're unexcused, because I think y'all were okay with leaving that in there. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of meetings to miss.
Thank you for also including the moral turpitude clause.
That's correct.
I think that's important. Council, please vote. It does pass unanimously. Moves us to item 11.8, the proposed referendum ordinance amending charter administrative efficiency. Mr. Burns.
And this is the largest, I guess, the ballot question that changes the most amount of sections. It changes sections 11 through 14 and 16 through 22, the charter. Most of those sections deal actually with Mr. Davis's duties, and it's adopting all the recommendations that the Charter Review Commission made regarding those sections to make his job a little bit easier and clearer ultimately.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this section for Mr. Burns or Mr. Davis? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action?
Mr. Mayor, so moved to accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Merrill, seconded by Councilwoman Riley to accept staff's recommendation on this item 11.8, the proposed referendum ordinance amending charter administrative efficiency. Any additional comments from the council?
I'm out on this one.
All right. Council, please vote. It does pass 5-1. That moves us to item 11.9, the proposed referendum ordinance amending charter regarding council and mayor compensation. Mr. Burns.
Okay, so this obviously is to repeal, or actually it's amending section 33 of the city charter to authorize compensation, but just so you're clear, the compensation that's authorizing is either the monetary compensation, so being paid cash, or the health insurance coverage. And the amount that you would receive if you elect the monetary compensation would be $1,000 for council members a month and $2,000 for the mayor. Every council member and the mayor could individually elect between the option of health insurance or the pay. But that was how I left last meeting with your vote, understanding that's what y'all wanted to do. And so if y'all wanted to make it an and, this would be the time to tell me you want it to be and. The and being you want both the monetary compensation and the health insurance.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this for Mr. Burns, City Attorney? Yes, sir.
Can I get another apology for you tonight? I was researching and looking at this item, my previous vote. I know we can't change it or do anything, but I want to apologize. My out was
for this
on this one, not the last one. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Apologies accepted to the last item.
That part.
Anyone else with questions on this for Mr. Burns? Seeing none, anyone from the,
I have a question.
Mr. Berry, go ahead.
Help. It says, is it either monetary compensation or health insurance?
Correct.
Either or?
It's either or. It's not both. You can't choose both.
Oh, you cannot choose both?
No, you cannot.
We can change it right now and make it be.
Well, no. I don't care either way. But I don't want either. I just needed clarification, either or.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyone else with a question? Seeing none, is anyone from the public? Oh, Ms. Riley, you had a question?
I have a question. So, directly to Attorney Burns. So on the either or the or, is that clear? Or can any adjustments be made on that?
It's crystal
Can it go
clear.
in? Can you go in?
You would not be able to get both. No, there's no way. Because the ballot question is a little bit more basic. If you go into the actual, I'm pulling up the language right now to the actual, which will actually be the provision.
As it's currently written in the language is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So that stands. I got it.
Right.
But if we want it to be both, the time to change it is now, because you can't change it again. Correct?
And that would have to be,
well, that's what I was asking.
And that would have to be reflected in a motion that one of you would make after we've given the public the opportunity to speak on the item.
Copy.
And offer their input. Councilman Schmidt, a question.
Mr. Burns, procedural-wise, if that alleged motion that the mayor is referring to was made and was second was passed, would it have to be brought back for another?
It'll be brought back in first reading.
Brought to the first reading form.
Correct.
Thought so. Just making sure. Thank you, sir.
And if y'all make too many changes at that first reading, it wouldn't make it to the.
It would have to.
Y'all probably would have to either call a special meeting to do the 2 readings.
So what we pass tonight has to pass the second time.
It'll pass, 2 more times actually, because this is not first reading tonight. This is to bring it back for first reading. So,
And you don't have time to do it again.
Yeah, because I think the deadline is basically Christmas, basically.
December 25th.
Yeah.
So our last meeting, we only have 1 meeting in November and 1 meeting in December. So you'll have the first reading in November, second reading in December. So tonight, Ms. Riley, yes, it is. If you want it changed, it needs to be now, not next meeting.
I got it.
Right.
Okay.
So, anyone from the public wish to comment on this item? Does anyone on council wish to make a motion?
I wish to make a motion to make the changes for council and mayor to receive both health and the compensation.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Riley, seconded by Councilman Jeter to accept Mr. Burns' wording here, except to make the change to include council and mayor compensation and health insurance coverage from the city. Any additional comments? Mr. Merrill.
I just feel that from the last amendment, there was the vote to remove compensation. But when you looked at it, it was, when it was both, this, what we were proposing with the or, was a pay cut. At the end of the day, it was a pay cut. And we could put it on the ballot at $10,000 a month. But we're going to put something on the ballot that I think is not going to be received well by the public. I agree with you, Mr. Jeter. I think it should be a paid position. I do. But I think if we present something that doesn't reflect in line and in the direction with the last vote, I think then you're going to see it not even have a chance. And that's where I'm concerned. I'm concerned that, this is always a hard thing to vote on, but not only are we replacing the compensation, we're now giving a raise. And if we came back and said, well, then it's $250 a month and health insurance for a limit, then it would be something, but I don't know. I don't think this is going to be received great by the public, and what's the point of getting on the ballot just to have it shot down? Everything that I voted for to put on this ballot is something that I'm going to push for, something that I'm going to recommend, it's something that I'm going to, on my own personal time, try to get as much information out there so that they pass. And this one, I feel, makes it difficult.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Schmidt, I saw you raise your hand, and then we'll go to Brad.
Just want to reiterate some of the concerns from last time we discussed this, more specifically, the similar concerns Mr. Merrill mentioned, but more specifically, with more of the cost being added, if it's an and, not an or, I feel like we talked about those two words a lot this past year too, the ands and the ors. That $1,000 per month and the healthcare cost anywhere around, $2,000 a month or what that looks like. We're looking at a lot of operating expenses, and we don't know how the ballot language is going to pass or not with the whole 3% cap. It's just going to be a tough sell to staff that we got about a $300-400, whatever the cost would be for a council that chooses to elect into both the stipend and the health care. It's going to be a tough sell, so I'm out.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Councilman Brown.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to support it either, just because we chose, people to sit up here, representatives that we chose for that charter board, and they specifically said or. So for those reasons, I'm going to stick with what they said.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And a point of clarity, if I can, they actually removed the healthcare. They only added the compensation, and then because that was something we said, or we added the or, they didn't even have it. So to give us an option, but yeah, I just would hate to see us come back and be like, and so that's just. I think that sets us up for failure right off the bat anyway. So.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, Ms. Riley.
And I absolutely would not want to set, the council up for failure. But, you would have an option to say, on the end. So that's your option. You can dismiss both of them, the compensation and the health care. And I believe that some of us on the council probably would not accept the health care, and some may not accept the insurance, but you do have the option of both. And I do understand that the charter, I'm not trying to erase what has been put out there, and they did, I understand that they did the work to get to where they're at. But my thought process on that is, I think the mayor need to be compensated. I think the council need to be compensated. Health insurance, yeah, but that should be an option though for both of them. I just like the wording and better, because at the end of the day, whether it's and or, you most likely going to take an option anyway, regardless.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
That's me.
Council, please vote. The motion is not carried. 2-4. Would anyone like to make a motion to take any action on this item otherwise?
Mr. Mayor, I would be so moved to accept the proposed referendum ordinance amending the charter regarding council mayor compensation as staff recommends.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Merrill, seconded by Councilman Browning to accept the wording as Mr. Burns has written regarding council and mayor compensation. Additional comments I don't think are needed because we definitely heard everything you guys said.
Yeah.
So with my executive authority, anyone from the public wish to speak on this? Seeing none, please vote. And it does pass 4-2. All right, that moves us to a place that I'm lost here.
So what happened here?
10,
11 something, bro.
11:10.
Oh yeah, 11:10, because Schmidt put it in there. Wait, we're still in there? Yeah, 11.9. Sorry, we cannot skip that one.
The board.
All right, 11.9, proposed referendum ordinance amending charter regarding, oh no, wait, I'm still on the same one? How am I still on the same one?
It's not even late.
Charter regarding annual budget increases. My computer's different than my paper. That's the problem.
And this is obviously the proposed charter amendment to, or ballot question to remove and repeal Section 35. The only thing I would say is I know Nicole and I and Jason went kind of back and forth on the language, and I actually think legally, it would be fine if we removed a little bit of the verbiage that I put in here, because originally I put more in than they wanted, because they want to make it a simpler question for the voters to understand. And I actually think we could, the question currently as it's presented to you is rather lengthy. It does come in under the 75 words though, but I do believe you could remove everything from so on the third line, so where it says limits annual increases in the budget, I think you could start right there and cut out the word "for," and then everything down to the last line, and just have it read, shall the city charter of Fort Walton Beach be amended to repeal section 35 titled limitation on annual budget expenditures, which limits annual increases in the budget and which does not limit increases to property tax and millage rates. If y'all think that reads a little simpler. And Nicole, do you think that?
So, okay, so it would say, shall the city charter of Fort Walton Beach be amended to repeal section 35 titled limitation on annual budgeted expenditures, which limits annual increases in the budget and which does not limit increases to property tax and millage rates?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
I think that reads.
I think it's a lot cleaner for citizens to understand.
Yeah. So see, the other stuff doesn't necessarily have to be in there because the charter amendment that was passed last year is a budget limitation amendment. And so just referencing it in the numbers enough, I believe. So.
All right, questions on this for Mr. Burns, City Attorney, from the council? Seeing none. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none. Council, do you wish to take any action?
So moves to ask recommendation of the updated shorter version.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Browning to accept Mr. Burns' wording with his changes as read by Ms. Neighbors for demonstration purposes. Any additional comments? Council, please vote. That motion does pass 4-2. It moves us to item 11.10.
Actually, Mayor, I was going to, at the end of all these,
that's right.
Ask for some direction from the council on how y'all want the question numbers ordered. Technically, this is something, if we came in at the first reading, we could change the number on the question, the proposed ordinance, if y'all can't decide tonight how you want them ordered, but I think it would make it easier to let us know tonight how you want the questions ordered, and because right now I think the logical way to do it would be just in the order that you passed them, but I was saying that because that's the only thing I know that y'all have done. I don't have an opinion either way how the question should be presented on the ballot, but what that means is the proposed amendment that was passed at the last meeting dealing with moving the election date to November, that would be question 1 right now, and then questions 2, 3, and 4 would be those more technical amendments, and then it would end with the council compensation and the repeal of section 35. And so that's how it will be presented right now to y'all next month. And so I'm kind of asking for some direction. Do y'all maybe have a preference on the order of the ballot questions?
All right. Somebody want to make a motion on accepting that or changing it, and then you guys can debate if you see fit.
Mayor, so moves City Attorney's recommendation or the way it's currently presented.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Jeter to approve Mr. Burns' recommended order of the presentation of these ordinances amending the charter. Any additional comments? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this order? Seeing none, council, please vote. And that does pass 6-0, which now moves us to item 11.10. Councilman Schmidt, I believe you wanted to address this, or is there someone here with a more present?
Well, I just motioned to amend the agenda to include this. Mr. Davis or Mr. Burns, if you want to give some background of them.
So this is the lease that's at the corner of Highway 98 and Perry that was originally intended to be a golf cart LSV parking lot. It's never been used that way. I think the property's now been under lease for almost a year now, maybe 10 months or so. and it's really just sat vacant. The city is obligated under lease to maintain the property for the landlord, and the city does pay monthly rent. It's not a high rent number. I think it's a few $100. It's $500, and so it has been keeping the property clean. That's the one benefit. But I know at the CRA meeting, y'all directed and were very clear that y'all are ready to maybe terminate this lease. The only thing, I didn't have the lease in front of me right then when it got brought up earlier, but I pulled it up on my computer. We do have to give them a 90-day notice. So if y'all do vote to terminate the lease tonight, they'll still get rent for 3 months unless they decide that they want to let out of that provision, which I doubt they would have any reason to do that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
All right. Questions on it from the council? Oh, you got some additional information?
Tim Gibson, Growth Management Director. It's been brought up before, but just to remind you, I have discussed with the property owner and developer on there. They are still planning on moving forward with development on the property. They said probably first quarter of next year. So whether we terminate it on our side or they're looking to terminate it in the near future as well, obviously that could change their plans. Their plans could change and they not develop, but that's their plans right now is to start development early next year.
Either way, however this action were to go, you seem pretty confident they're moving forward with their strategic plan.
That's what it sounds right now, but I mean, the economy, the market, it kind of drives so many things right now. So I mean,
good. I'm optimistic too.
Yeah.
Mr. Gibson, just for clarity, you're not saying in any way that this vote would impact their development plans?
No, I'm saying that it's potential that whether we take action or not right now, that lease could end up terminated soon anyways.
Gotcha.
From their side, because it is in the lease that either side can, with the notice on there, can terminate the lease. So in talking with them, they are looking at possibly doing that. That came up during the CRA, the beautification that we were looking to do on there with the fence and everything, that when we asked them about doing some irrigation on there, they want to be very clear that they are planning on moving forward early next year with that. That's why we went with the cheapest option of just the fence wrap that's on there right now.
I think practically, Mayor, this property is never being turned into a parking lot in time before they start tearing it up, is what it means, what Tim's saying.
Gotcha. All right. Anyone else, no questions? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this?
Just, I did want to talk about, I think Mr. Jeter wanted to keep maintaining it because that's the entrance to the city, whether we keep the lease or not. And I almost would rather not do that because just from a fair and equitable standpoint, if I'm going to maintain his property, I feel like I need to start maintaining other people's property. And I think we take on a little bit of liability with,
We could, it would be a little bit more liability.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, just risk averse from that perspective. So working with that property owner, I prefer, right now we're using park staff, it's not a contract. So our park staff is going out there and mowing that, and that just gives me more bandwidth to focus on our properties. So just thought there, but again, open to whatever. I'm just trying to navigate a few things there, make sure we're all on the same page.
So if you're saying if we had a current lease in place, you would still feel comfortable maintaining, we're never going to do a parking lot, even if the lease was for $1.
I don't want the lease. I didn't know we had this lease until, again, stuff I'm still learning. So when I found that out today, I was like, I have no interest in leasing that. We're not going to build a parking lot.
I don't think none of us want to lease it right now, but about a year ago before you got here, there was trash and debris and it was disgusting.
And we got a Troy now.
So that's where, well, we can go that route, but that route takes, they'll maintain it. They'll take care of it.
I mean, Troy's more effective too now. I'll get Troy than they used to be. So.
I agree with that. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action?
Mayor, so moved to get staff to follow all terms of our current lease, to submit the right notifications to remove ourselves from that lease as early as can be.
Second. To terminate the lease.
To terminate it.
Yes, terminate.
Motion made by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Browning to terminate the lease.
What Mr. Jeter just mentioned, the intentions were to create a parking environment. There were some conversations about possibly LSVs and golf carts crossing First Street. We were strategically trying to find some parking. And just like other things go a different direction. It's exciting to hear that they're optimistic about developing in the beginning of the year. So that's why I made this motion in support of hopefully getting out of this. Good intention at one time, and here we are now.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Council, please vote. It does pass unanimously, 6-0. Great job to, I wasn't here in the CRA meeting, but whoever identified this and spurred on this action, great job. So credit to all of you, I suppose. Moves us to item 12, city manager reports. Mr. Davis.
Just a couple things. Not sure why there was a delay. I don't know if I just missed it, but we got a census from University of Florida, and it brought in our population like 20,000 as opposed to 22,000. We tried to file an appeal to say, hey, this can't be right. We've had some building, etc. And I guess we just missed the window. So there's a process that we can follow for next year to have that evaluated, but I just got to get it on somehow. I don't know why it came physical mail. So I don't know if it was lost in the mail, but I got it, turned it over to Kim, and she tried to navigate that with University of Florida, and they said no. So just putting that on your radar. The fee structure for field use needs to be a resolution. Kim caught me on that, so I will have that on the November ballot so we can approve that fee structure and implement that for renting field space. And maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life, we cannot get pennies from the bank. It's just weird saying that out loud. So in the utility building, pennies. They are apparently not going to make pennies anymore. Write your congressman, tell them how angry you are. But in the utility billing area, the software's smart enough, if you will, to either add or subtract a penny and just put on next month's bill. No big deal. Golf world, not so much. So it's not that the staff doesn't know how to use a calculator or do the basic math. Again, cannot physically get pennies. So rather than buy an upgraded software that would do the math, that would, bill it somehow to your membership, just not cost effective. So we've gone to a cashless product there. And oddly enough, not going to be a huge impact. $1 in pennies lasts 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not like we do a lot of cash there to begin with, but pennies. Then just, keeping with the theme on that 3% and how it's actually impacting the city. We had a police vehicle get damaged. We are not going to repair it because we're early in the fiscal year and we just don't know how it's going to shake out. So that police officers are going to drive that bucket. It's only $4,000 to repair it, but that being said, we're going to wait till we get towards the end of the fiscal year. Of course, the price will probably go up because it's good for 30 days, but we just need to be careful with that. And oddly enough, this council, substantially more active than previous councils apparently, we're trending in a way that we're going to run out of your budget to go to FCMA, FCCMA, ICMAs and whatnot. So we got to do a little better tracking that going forward because we built our budget based on historical use. This council, however, is a little bit more involved. So just wanted to put that on your radar.
Thank you, sir. Questions from the board for Mr. Davis on any of that? Ms. DeBerry.
What about, you mentioned all those acronyms, how about Florida League of Cities?
What about it?
Does that include, we can't go to that either?
I'm not saying you can't, we have to track the budget a little bit tighter because yourself and...
Ms. Riley?
Yep, so I guess previous councils didn't go nearly as frequently, so...
Oh, I thought they did.
I have no idea, I'm just giving you the information I've been given.
Before this group that's here now is the one that didn't go for a couple of years, and then before that they did, but now it went from nothing to a little.
I think this is the 3 series, so the December one should end with 3 series. I'm just throwing it out there.
What did you say again?
Yeah, we've got, that part's covered, but when we switch over to like January to next year, if you start doubling down, we're gonna be in a spot.
The part 4 part.
We'll have to, can we carpool?
We'll delete part
Sunshine, ask Mr. Burns on that one.
So that means that we couldn't share a hotel room, like 2 different beds either. We couldn't do that either, huh?
Couldn't we just publicly notice that carpool trip
And have a camera on.
Live stream.
Yeah, live stream it, maybe.
I'd watch that. Who wouldn't watch that? All right, any other questions for Mr. Davis?
I do.
Councilman Schmidt.
I'm really interested, but also it's just back-to-back meetings where I really feel for the golf program that brings in a lot of cash. Last meeting is about golf balls, this meeting it's about pennies, and I don't mean to make light of the subject, but I just feel convicted to take some action, but not action where it's gonna be pulling the rug out of anything or overcapacity for staff, but so moved for staff to bring us back in January, February, some pros and cons and a due process of things to consider, both funding as well as procedural wise for the golf program to begin an enterprise fund for the 2027 budget.
Second. Motion by Councilman Schmidt, seconded by Councilman Jeter for staff to bring back information in January or February to look at moving the golf course to an enterprise fund system within our budget and present that to council.
Pros and cons, that's right. Very neutral, not wanting to go one way or another, but past couple meetings hearing some things, whether it's the 3% cap concerns, we don't know how that's going to go in March. It's a cash program that we're seeing budgets to actuals do very, very well. In the past two meetings, I'm not sure if you can buy golf balls and get pennies. So I know we're all trying to move different things around the whiteboard. Staff's doing amazing at trying to circumvent and go and do different things with the new legislation, but that's where my appetite's at.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Jeter.
Your motion is just bringing us back data on how we can remove any handcuffs we have on Jacob doing awesome at the golf course, ultimately.
Yes.
Go into an enterprise fund where we
Correct.
can.
Yeah, I just want to highlight
Yeah, go into an enterprise fund where the handcuffs are off and it can do as well as it possibly can without any
That's a good way to put
government restrictions.
While I'm sure there's some pros and cons that staff have that I may not be thinking about or may think about, but yes, that would be the ultimate objective, to continue that program to fly at the high standard like you mentioned.
Can you do that, Mr. Jeff? Is that enough time?
That would be really, legally, it's very easy to do this, but Nicole, as the city's finance director, has to basically, because she's also like an accountant, and she has to attest certain things, she has to be comfortable the funds and everything is lined up correctly. So it's going to be can we ask her
And that would be the information.
number hers.
That would be the information that needed to be brought back. Like, we're not needing to figure that out, you know what I mean? But whatever that information is that Nicole.
Are you talking about like not doing like a full analysis of when, but just pros, cons, and like maybe the history of when it was in the general fund, not like it wasn't an enterprise?
What we can do to get to that, but the cons that may say, hey, it'd be too costly to invest into starting an enterprise fund, or looking maybe at the capital request that program may have over the next 5 years. It might be a pro to throw a certain amount of money to start off the enterprise fund because our capital request over the next 5 years might be extremely expensive. That's going to pull from the general revenue. So those kind of pros and cons, yeah, I'm sure a little bit of history wouldn't hurt, a little background wouldn't hurt, but it's really trying to focus on the unknowns of this March 2026, the 3% cap, back-to-back meetings trying to figure out how we're getting golf balls and pennies, but I heard from the city attorney, not really anything legal, more accounting standards and due processes that we need to consider. Not here at, I think it's 8:27 at night, but by January and February, bringing back that information.
Got it. Anyone else wish to comment on the motion?
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah. Help educate me on the difference between enterprise fund and what we have right now.
I got you. So right now, the golf course operates out of the general fund budget, out of parks and recreation, meaning if it has a shortfall in its own budget, you can pull money from the general fund to address a capital project or a downturn in the economy of the number of people who are playing golf. An enterprise fund would make it more like, for instance, Daniel's department, Public Works, or the water and sewer. So, it's its own business, basically. It's separate from everything else. Its expenditures are its own expenditures, its incomes are its own incomes.
So like whenever
that would be the difference.
Sorry.
No.
So like whenever the Pines got a lot of money that was invested in making that up, in the future, that enterprise fund would have to figure out how to structure and prepare and plan for that without pulling from other other park money or potholes and things like that that go towards other things. That enterprise, like Mr. Mayor mentioned, is the objective is to try to be self-sustaining and ran like a business.
So you run it like a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
And this motion is just bringing us back
Just
that
to
data so we can make an
So we can
informed
have more
decision.
spirited decisions and conversations.
All right. Everybody's well informed. Please vote. And it does pass unanimously. All right. Anyone else with a question for Mr. Davis on his city manager reports? Seeing none. Mr. Burns, your city attorney reports.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Final comments from the council. I believe we started with Mr. Allen.
I'm all good.
All good. Ms. Riley.
I'm good also.
You are also all good. Mr. Schmidt.
Mr. Davis, thank you for continuing to keep this standard improving. Always want to continue to highlight the cleanest city of the Emerald Coast, the humility of needing to tweak some things, but also the confidence in giving our staff and our community to continue to lean in on that program. So I plan on the next 17 months continuing to advocate for that program, supporting that program, and whatever we need to do to tweak it to make it better. That's my council comment for the night.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brennan.
Yeah, just to echo you from earlier, the United Fidelity event was pretty awesome. The city also had a fall event too that was really awesome as well on Friday, and it was packed, which was surprising because of the football game. That was good, and I just hate that I missed Jersey night tonight.
You know what? A lot of people did suggest that tonight should have been council dress up in Halloween costumes. And I think next year we're going for it. I think next year we're going for it. I think it's what the people want. All right, Ms. DeVere.
Okay, I just want to say, I was pleasantly surprised with the kids playing ball on the turf grass during the rain. It rained and rained and rained, not hard rain, but it rained. But it was okay. At least they didn't go past 10 and 12 midnight. So I appreciate that. Also, I've gotten a lot of good feedback with the Citizens Academy and the Police Academy as well. The feedback that I got is that thank you for opening up what the city staff is doing, what we are doing, and allowing the questions and seeing how our city is moving this way or that, and bringing in Nathan Sparks from, they said we had no idea. So this is good. We're opening up and showing what we're doing here as a city rather than closing everything down. And even like with the VPK and all that, people says, what? It needed to be brought open. It needed to be aired out so that they understand. And they appreciate this. They truly, truly appreciate that. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Jeter.
Yes, I could agree with you as well, and I'm glad we just approved some more of those turf fields tonight, because they're awesome. That's great. And just thank you. Like everybody else is saying tonight, we're blessed to live in such a beautiful area. From Nathan at the EDC, like you said, to TDD funds that we receive. We live in a great area. I can't wait to see all of our new updated projects in the CRA district and all these awesome new parks and everything else we have. We really do have a lot of great things to be excited about going forward, whether it's bike paths and parks and lights and great people running great organizations from the EDC to the TDD. We're blessed to live in a great place, and I'm grateful and thankful to live here.
2.0, right?
Yes, sir.
I would just like to finally say I agree strongly with something that Councilwoman DeBerry just kind of mentioned, which is I think it's great when Mr. Davis, for instance, comes in, sees an issue like the expenditure there and the losing money at the rec center, and says, hey, is this something that the city wants to do? And puts it out in this way that council can now put it out to the residents and be that conduit like they're supposed to be. And then people from the community come and email and call and show up to the meeting and say, we're passionate about this and we want to keep this. They could have also come and said, what a big waste of money, get rid of all of this, right? Or I run a daycare operation and you guys are competing against me, right? people can come and voice their opinion. If you don't ask the question, you don't find out, are people passionate about this? Do people love this? Do people want this? So there's tons of those things in the operation of the city, and I am very thankful for Mr. Davis exploring those opportunities to save money, those opportunities to make programs better, and to get people passionately involved in the process of making this city better. So I think it's a fantastic thing when this room is packed with people waiting to speak about something, and they got to witness all the other things that their government took action on while they waited for that. So thank you very much. That's all for tonight. We're adjourned.